to another video of Learn to Earn. In the last video, we have learned about some of the most important logical functions in Excel, which were these and, or, not, and if functions. And we have also seen if with and, if with or, nested ifs, and so on. So, if you are not familiar with these topics, you can refer to that video as well. I will link it in the description below. So, we left out with these three formulas, which are if error, if NA, and is blank. So these three formulas we will get to know today, and we will also know about is blank with if formula as well. So we will get to know about it with this sheet. Let me explain the table here. We have some random names, their organization, their salary, their designation, their city, and their tenure. And wherever you see 0, that means he or she has recently joined the company. That's why it has been 0. And the last column is about salary divided by tenure. So this 30,000 should be divided by 0 in this, and so on. So let's understand the first formula now, which is if error. So what is the if error formula? If error checks if a formula generates an error and returns a different value if an error is found. So within the data, if I apply this formula, it will check that if it is giving an error or not. If a pre-applied formula is there, if it is not giving the exact value but giving an error, so with this formula we can tell Excel that don't show the error but show that what we are providing instead of the error. Let's see so that you will understand better. So the first one is if error. Let's apply it here. If error tab. So how should we apply it? So you can see the heading salary by tenure. So in this column I am doing that only. So first of all, let's not apply if error and see what happens if I do salary by tenure in this case. So in this case I will press equal to the salary is 30,000 divided by the tenure, which is 0 here. Press enter. So you see there is an error which is hash div by 0 exclamation. So this basically means that your divisor is 0. So we cannot calculate your division. Let's drag it down and see what happens to other cells. You see some values are there which are coming because we are dividing by tenure, and the tenure is not 0 in this case. So wherever 0 is not there, you will get the value, but wherever 0 is there, you are getting div by 0 error. So we want Excel not to show this error, but what we want to show. So let's apply the if error formula instead of this. If error value. My value would be the same formula that I had applied, which is salary by tenure. Salary by, this is tenure. Sorry, salary by, it should be by tenure. Press comma. And what we want to show if the value has error. So we want to show, let's say, divisor cannot be 0, and inverted comma close the bracket, press enter. So you see, instead of the div by 0 error, you are getting now divisor cannot be 0. And if I just apply it to all the fields, you see it has been applied everywhere, and wherever it's not applicable, you are getting the same value which we were getting before applying the if error formula. So this is how you go ahead with the if error formula. Next up is the if NA formula. So NA, you must be seeing this type of error, NA, in Excel while working with VLOOKUP or anything else. So how to go ahead and tell Excel not to show this error and show something else. So this is if NA formula. Checks if a formula returns hashtag NA value not available error and returns a different value if the error is found. So it deals with a specific type of error only, which is NA, unlike if error, which can be used for all the errors. So wherever if NA is applicable, if error can be used either ways. But let's understand this if NA in this case. So mostly while working with VLOOKUP, we get this type of NA error. For example, you must be knowing how VLOOKUP works. So I have created this small table where this cell is the input cell where I will put the name of the employee, and on the basis of that their organization and salary change. For example, it's selected Harry as of now, and Harry has Amazon as its organization and salary is 1 lakh. For example, let's say I type Draco here. So you see Draco has Amazon and salary is 80,000. So it changes. Let's say last example I change it to Luna. So I change it to Luna. Then also I am getting 60,000 and Google. So, but what if I press anything which is not in the data, like ABC? So you see, both of this doesn't work because ABC is not in the name column. How to deal with this error? Here comes the function of if NA. Let me go back to the way it was. Now first see the syntax of if NA. I'll select this cell and press if NA value and value if NA. So the same type of syntax which was there for if error. If you see if error syntax, you will see that the value was the first set of argument, the second is value if error. So the same is there. So in this cell, let's say this was my, this whole thing was my value. So if I just apply if any here only, press tab, then you see my whole VLOOKUP function has came under this value. And if I go ahead and press here comma, then I can simply tell what will be the value if NA is shown. Then I would like to tell Excel to show us value error. Okay, now close the bracket, press enter. Now if I type ABC, I'll get value error in this cell because if I have applied if NA in this cell, but I have not applied in this cell. Okay, so let's apply it here also. I'll select this, I'll go ahead here and apply the if NA formula, press tab, and I'll go at the end and press comma. So this VLOOKUP part is over, which was the value in this if NA formula, and value if NA would be value error. The same. Press enter. So this is how if NA is useful. Next up is the ISBLANK formula, which checks if a cell is empty and returns one value if empty and another value if not empty. So it checks if a cell is empty or not. On the basis of that, it provides the value. So you must be seeing the city column. Some of the cities are not present here. So this is a good example to show you how ISBLANK works. For this, I'll just add a new column here naming city present question mark. I'll just copy the formatting here, only the formatting, and increase this. Okay. So let's apply ISBLANK here. What is your value? My value is this, and simply close the bracket, only one argument, false. So it is telling me city present, it's showing false. That means it is not blank. I should rather write it city absent, city not given. Then it would make sense. Huh. So this tells us if the cell is blank or not. So this is false. That means the cell which we have selected is not blank. Let's apply the same formula, and you see wherever the value is absent, it says true. Wherever it is present, it says false. So this is how you use is blank formula. But what if we want to tell Excel to show something else rather than true or false? Something more direct or something more informational. So that is how we work with the if function. We already know that. So let's apply the is blank with if function. How to do that? Let's see in this case, the first example only. Let's apply the if formula first, then logical test comes. So my logical test is to check whether this cell is blank or not. So I'll apply the is blank formula. Value would be this cell. Simply close the bracket, and notice that as soon as we close the bracket, we are back again into the syntax of if formula. So my logical test was to check if E2 is blank or not. So it is blank or not, we will check by logical test. My logical test part is over. Press comma, value if true. If it is blank, listen carefully. If it is blank, we want to show city name not present. Okay. Value if false. So what is the value if it is false? That means if it is not blank. If it is not blank, we would want the same city name to be shown. Or rather, let's say we want to show city name is present. Okay. Press enter. Now you see it says city name is present. Let's capitalize this word. So it says city name is present because the city name was present. Let me drag it down to all the cells. You see wherever it is not present, it says city name not present. Now if I want to change this, that means if the value is there, we want that value to appear in this only. So we will just remove this and select this. So we will just remove this and select E3, E2 in this case. Press enter. So wherever the city name is present, you will get the city name. Wherever it is not present, you will get city name not present. This is how we go ahead and work with the is blank formula with the help of if formula. So we are done with all the formulas. And once again guys, if you have not seen the previous video, you can watch it. I'll link it in the description below. Also you can watch other string functions, mathematical functions video as well. I'll link all those in the description below. So that's it for today guys. Thank you and signing off.